Alright, and now we're going to react to another video by Mr. Real Truth 62 here, also known as Warren Thornton, in which he's claiming that a Ukrainian recruitment officer was beat to death on August 27th. So let's get into it.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're well. Well, the people, the real men of Ukraine seem to be fighting back because there is a gentleman, and I'm going to tell you about him now. Transcarpathia, the head of the military registration and enlistment office, was smashed. Sergeant Vasily.
Let's go back and see where he's getting this.
Transcarpathia, the head of the military registration and enlistment office, was smashed. Sergeant Vasily Stetsko was found barely alive, not far from a military training ground. He died on the way to the hospital. He was a physical education teacher, but then he went to work in the Uzhgorod District Military Registration Enlistment Office. So he was part of these bunch of thugs that go around beating up Ukrainian men and throwing them into vans and packing them off to 2 weeks training and then throwing them on the front line.
What? Okay, let's do some fact checking here. Cool. So I googled the name and the article he said, and I can find literally nothing on the internet to back up this claim. I mean, the news agency, he said Transcarpathia, that news agency literally doesn't exist. So I don't know where he's getting this. And in fact, if you actually look up this incident and you look up keywords to it, the only sources are himself on Rumble and again himself on BitChute. He is the only source on the entire internet for this claim. Not even Russian sources are making this claim up. And I can tell that he's the original source because all the people that have commented this stuff in my comment section and reference this, when you get around to it, you keep asking for a source. Give me a source. Give me proof. Give me proof. Give me proof. All they link back to is his channel and go, well, I saw it there and he tells the truth, so he can't be lying. He read a name of an article. He can't be lying. There is literally nothing. Nothing. And again, though, we can look up videos though of Russian troops beating their own officers to death. We look at videos of, again, Russian troops beating their own officers to death. But there is absolutely zero information other than himself on the internet of a Ukrainian recruitment officer being beaten to death. I'd like to add now as well, I've long since been speaking out against the propaganda from both sides on this one, because both Ukrainians and Russians have put out this propaganda. There is no verifiable proof from either side that either side is using 16-year-olds or 70-year-olds or going out of their way to beat up people and throw them in vans. We've seen one or two videos from both sides claiming to be the other side and go, look, this is proof that the Russians or this is proof that the Ukrainians are beating people up and throwing them in vans and taking them against their will. There has been no verifiable proof from either side. So even if Ukrainians try and make that claim, I will fight against it because there is no verifiable proof. And also, I don't get where you're getting that it's 2 weeks training, because we have verifiable articles and interviews with captured Russian conscripts that say they were given 2 weeks of training and sent to the front lines, despite the fact that if you look at actual Russian training doctrine, even conscripts are supposed to get a minimum of 3 months training, sometimes 2 during wartime, but they're not getting that. But you can Google interviews with captured Russian soldiers, and you can actually find that out.
It was found barely alive, 2 vans, and packing them off to 2 weeks training and then throwing them on the front line. It seems as though very much there's other reports coming in as we speak, and I have this from another source as well, that he's been killed. So he's definitely been beaten overnight, and they smashed up the recruitment office. It seems like real Ukrainian men are...
I have this from another source. Well, what is that source? Why can't you ever provide an actual fucking source? In some of your videos, you even tell people, I want verifiable sources. I want first-hand accounts. Yet you provide nothing. Your source is literally, trust me, bro, I made it the fuck up. And are you seriously saying that real men go around just beating other people to death? That's your definition of a real man? Beating another man to death doing his job? Like, even if it were true, what the fuck is wrong? Why would you say something like that?
Are actually acting now and going out and getting these people. I would imagine it's probably a few fathers who have lost a son or two at the front line. But it would seem that the forced registration of these people and cutting off people's electricity unless they volunteer for a medical to go to the front, it would seem as though this is coming back to bite them.
They're doing what? Hold on. So we're going to go to duckduckgo.com just so we don't get any biased Google searches. So we're going to look up Ukraine not cutting off power for not going to the military. And I'm not seeing a single source. I'm not seeing a single source showing that the Ukrainian government is cutting off power to people that are refusing to fight. Again, I don't know where you get this shit. And I don't get how you get away with making this up and people just believe you. It's unbelievable the shit you are able to make up and people just believe you without a second thought.
In the backside. No one condones beating someone to death, but when these people go...
You literally just did. You literally just did.
Around doing this sort of thing, and they spread all this sort of misery. And it just goes to show the level of pro-Ukrainian propaganda against what is actually going on in there.
What pro-Ukrainian propaganda? This video is the literal definition of anti-Ukrainian propaganda because you're not showing any verifiable proof. How hard is it to show the article? Say the... Like, I feel like you were intentionally mumbling the name and mumbling the source because you know that anyone who actually could understand it would look it up like I am and would not be able to find anything. And they would call you on your bullshit, and you're counting on people not being able to understand you and just going, trust me, bro, it's real.
You subjugate a people so badly and you beat them and you cut off their electricity unless they go and fight at the front. Which part of that war, including all the other stuff like Russia turning around and being able to produce more men, better equipment and quicker, and then you have people who don't...
Really? Because the last time I checked, Russia is on their third wave of conscription of 300,000 people. And they're struggling to do it to the point where they're advertising in Moscow, offering signing bonuses. They're offering signing bonuses in St. Petersburg. When was the last time that ever happened in Russia's history, where they were offering the middle to upper class of Russian citizens to be conscripted or get a signing bonus?
Don't want to fight, being forced to go to the front line. Which part of your madness in your head do you think is going to win that?
So let's say it's an active war zone. Your country's at war. Conscription is a thing. Why would it be bad for Ukraine to conscript people, which they do? Conscription is a thing. Why is it bad for Ukraine to do it, but it's not bad for Russia to do it? Do you not see the hypocrisy here? You're criticizing a country being actively invaded for conscripting fighting-age males. But you're not concerned with the third mobilization and conscription wave from Russia. I don't understand your logic.
This gentleman got probably what he deserved. And I don't.
Yes, you don't condone beating a man to death, but you're happy he did, which he didn't because he doesn't exist, and you're saying he got what he deserved for what would have been doing his job if he actually existed. What?
Think anybody, while you shouldn't really celebrate anybody's death, when they've caused the death of hundreds, I don't think these people who took their revenge on this guy who has sent so many people to the front line along with other friends of his, and don't go to the front lines themselves because they're exempt. Ukraine said that they weren't, but they are exempt and they have documents to prove it. And
Well, that's how recruitment works. If you're a recruiting officer in almost any military, you don't go to the front lines because you're the recruiter. I Do you not understand how that works?
we've actually published those before. These people, they need to be stopped, and it looks like proper, real Ukrainian soldiers and men are doing exactly that. And more power to them, as far as I'm concerned.
What the fuck do you know about real Ukrainian men? You sit here and you spew propaganda and hate, and you turn people against Ukrainian people, a country actively being invaded, and you just blatantly lie. Videos like this is why I do my videos, calling out your blatant propaganda. What the fuck?